How Rome conquered Greece. The fall of the Hellenic world for centuries. The Greek world stood as the beacon of art, philosophy, and science. The Greeks gave the world Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. They built towering temples to gods like Athena and Apollo, sculpted marble heroes, and spread their culture across continents. But by the 2nd century BCE, the once great Greek world had become fractured. And looming in the west was a rising power, disciplined, relentless, and utterly without mercy. Rome. Pyrrhus arrived with war elephants and veteran troops, winning a string of costly victories against the Romans. This is the story of how Rome, a once provincial republic, conquered Greece, the birthplace of Western civilization. It was the first time Rome clashed with Greek military might, and it wouldn't be the last. From allies to rivals, meanwhile, in the east, the once great empire of Alexander the Great had splintered. His generals, known as the Diadochi, had carved up his empire into rival Hellenistic kingdoms. Rome didn't begin its journey with plans to conquer Greece. In fact, the first contact was more about cooperation than conflict. During the early 3rd century BCE, Rome had just begun expanding south into Magna Graecia, the Greek colonies in southern Italy. While Greek city-states watched from the sidelines, Rome aligned itself with local Greek allies like Rhodes and Pergamon, promising to free Greece from Macedonian control. The result was decisive. Roman flexibility and maneuverability crushed the rigid Greek formation. Philip V was defeated. These cities like Tarentum were wealthy, proud, and deeply Hellenistic. He was ambitious, proud, and hoped to restore Greek dominance over the Mediterranean. Greek independence now existed only at Rome's pleasure. But in the early 2nd century BCE, Rome saw Macedon as a threat, especially after Philip allied with Hannibal during the Second Punic War. It became the referee of every dispute, playing rivals against each other to maintain control without direct rule. In 280 BCE, when tensions with Rome escalated, the Greek city of Tarentum summoned help from Pyrrhus, the king of Epirus, and a distant relative of Alexander the Great. But Rome, unlike the squabbling Greek states, did not fold. Pyrrhus eventually withdrew. Rome absorbed the Greek cities of southern Italy, Macedon, and the shadow of Alexander at the Battle of Magnesia. The Roman army, alongside Greek allies, crushed the Seleucid forces. Antiochus retreated. The stream of controlling Greece was over. It didn't need to occupy Greece. It already controlled it. He rallied Greek support and challenged Roman authority. With southern Italy secured, Rome turned its attention elsewhere. Proud and independent, the League refused to submit fully to Rome. Tensions flared. Macedon, once Alexander's homeland, remained a powerful kingdom under rulers like Philip V. Rome declared war. Its citizens were killed or enslaved. Its treasures were shipped to Rome. Its memory became a warning. The phalanx once again proved no match for the Roman manipular formation. Perseus was captured. Macedon was divided into 4 client republics, its monarchy dismantled. In one swift symbolic act, Rome erased 2 former powers from the map. The Macedonian Wars in 200 BCE, Rome launched the Second Macedonian War. Governors, taxes, and Roman law replaced local councils and assemblies. Greek autonomy had ended. At the Battle of Cynocephalae in 197 BCE, Rome's legions clashed with Macedon's mighty phalanx. The new Roman province of Achaia was born. Macedonia had already become a province in 148 BCE, but instead of annexing Greece, Rome played politics. It declared Greece is free. Too many Greeks, it sounded noble. In reality, it meant Rome had inserted itself as the new power broker in the region. They studied under Greek tutors. They copied Greek statues and temples. They worshipped Greek gods, only renamed in Latin. Divide and rule. For the next few decades, Rome continued to interfere in Greek affairs, supporting some city-states, punishing others. When Antiochus III, king of the Seleucid Empire, tried to rally the Greeks under his banner in 192 BCE, Rome went to war again. Rome had now beaten 2 of the most powerful Hellenistic kingdoms without ever planting its flag in Athens or Sparta. Philosophers like Epictetus, a Greek slave, shaped the thoughts of future Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius, the last Macedonian king. Even the Roman Senate, so proud of its traditions, was awed by the intellectual legacy of the Agora and the Academy. Still, Macedon wasn't finished. In 171 BCE, Perseus of Macedon, son of Philip V, tried to resurrect Macedonian power. The result: the Third Macedonian War. Rome responded with overwhelming force. At the Battle of Pydna in 168 BCE, the Roman general Aemilius Paulus annihilated the Macedonian army. By now it was clear, resisting Rome was suicide. Not softer, just deeper. And as the empire expanded, so did Greek influence. The ideas born in Athens would echo in Roman law, Christian theology, and even modern democracy. The fall of Corinth, yet one Greek league, remained defiant. The Achaean League, centered in Corinth. In 146 BCE, Rome declared war. The Roman consul Lucius Mummius marched into Greece and besieged Corinth. What happened next stunned the ancient world. Corinth, once one of the richest and most influential cities in Greece, was burned to the ground. In the same year, Rome also destroyed Carthage in North Africa. With that, the Roman conquest of Greece was complete. Greece becomes a Roman province after Corinth's destruction. Rome officially absorbed mainland Greece. The proud, independent city-states of old were now administrative units in a Roman machine. But the story didn't end there, because even as Greece bowed to Roman rule, it began to conquer Rome in a very different way. The Greek cultural revenge, though, Rome ruled militarily. It was Greek culture that ruled the Roman mind. Roman elites admired everything Greek: philosophy, art, architecture, literature. To be educated in Rome was to speak fluent Greek. Writers like Cicero quoted Plato. Emperors like Hadrian rebuilt Athens. In a sense, Greece never fell. It merely changed hands and spread its culture even further than Alexander ever had. As the Roman poet Horace once wrote, Greece, though captured, took her fierce conqueror captive. What Rome learned from Greece, Rome learned to think like Greece. The Republic had always been practical, militaristic, legalistic. But under Greek influence, Rome embraced beauty, reason, and inquiry. The Roman calendar was reformed using Greek astronomy. Roman architecture evolved with Greek columns. Roman religion absorbed Greek myths. Rome may have destroyed Corinth, but it rebuilt it decades later in Roman style, with Greek soul. Legacy: the conquest of Greece was a turning point, not just in geopolitics, but in culture. Rome's power grew, but it changed. It became more refined, more philosophical, more artistic. Greece lost its independence, but its ideas lived on stronger than ever. Final thoughts: Rome conquered Greece not just through battles, but through clever alliances, ruthless diplomacy, and brutal finality. It defeated armies, crushed cities, and dismantled monarchies. But in doing so, it absorbed the very culture it had subdued. In the end, the conqueror became the pupil. And the legacy of Greece became the legacy of Roman, eventually, the legacy of the West. Greece may have fallen on the battlefield, but it rose again in the mind of the world.